now just on gateway units, so Immortals are going to be super effective against that. Dan looks like he might be starting to think about getting another base up. He's got his forces down the ramp, kind of protecting. Here we have 3 more photon cannons coming in for Ender, so he looks like he really loves those photon cannons as just static defense. Might not be the most cost effective because you cannot move those, but he's putting a heavy protection on that hidden base up there, which still has not been scouted by Dan. And now Ender's taking a 3rd base, so this is going to be pretty huge. We see down on the minimap that Dan is actually getting a 3rd base up, his 2nd base up right now, so he's still going to be a base behind, which is quite bad. Here we see Stalker. It looks like Dan could warp in a few units and take out that Stalker, but it looks like he's going to let the pylon fall instead. The scouting probe sees what units Ender has, which is not too many compared to Dan's army. So we'll see if he sends his observer up here to scout this army out and then attack, but Dan definitely has a stronger army right now. Looks like that 2nd base, the natural, is fully mining now, and here we see a robo facility finally going up for Ender. So looks like, I know that he does love the Colossus play, so we'll see if he does that. Probes transferring down for Dan. I'm not sure where his observer is right now. Dan's observer is right now. Here it goes, just heading up to see where Ender's army is. If he sees that army, he should attack it immediately because his force is much stronger. Ender's not aware of Dan's 2nd base going up yet, but it looks like Dan should know that there's a 3rd base up here. Looking at the mini-map, he sees that there is a photon cannon and a gateway up there. And Ender is continuing putting up more photon cannons up, static defenses. He loves those photon cannons, I guess. And here comes Dan smartly attacking this small unit. If he can isolate some of these zealots, he should be able to kill them completely for free. And here we see that now. It'll be interesting to see what's coming out of that robo facility. I can't tell. Yeah, it's an immortal for Ender. So Dan also has an immortal out already, but it's not with his army right now. Let's see here, 2nd immortal coming out for Dan, so that should be quite useful for him. Here we see Dan scouting up. He might get thinking about a 3rd base up there, but here we have his immortal finally joining the rest of his army. Trixie's now fully scouted that, so it'd be really nice to see Dan try to take out that hidden base immediately before any more economic damage can be done against him. There's only 3 photon cannons up there. Sorry, 4 photon cannons, but with the immortals in his army, those will fall so quickly. It seems like it'd be super effective to go up there and take out that base that's completely undefended besides 4 photon cannons. So we'll see what happens here. And Ender has 2 robo facilities, double robo, and he's adding a 3rd robotics. so it looks like he might go heavily into Colossus here, which should be quite strong. Oh, we see Ender does see vision of this army about to attack, so he should have good position here. Dan coming in, attacking the pylon. Oh, great force fields, kind of a defensive force field here to keep Ender's forces away, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. 2 immortals versus 1, and Dan's immortal goes down versus 2 immortals of Ender. Those are going to do super amounts of damage. Yeah, and we see that Dan's army just doesn't quite have enough power here. He would have force fielded the ramp a little bit sooner and higher up the ramp, not allowing Ender's forces to get down at all. I think Dan would have had a really good luck in that battle, but unfortunately 2 immortals, too much for Dan's army in that case. We'll see if Ender goes for a counterattack immediately, but we can see that Thermal Lance is upgrading and Colossus are coming out, so Ender's army is going to be ridiculously strong here very soon. We can see on the resources tab that Ender has 2,000 minerals banked up. So if he needs to get some more gateways out, that'd be smart. Sort of get rid of some of those extra minerals because just banking them isn't too useful right now. He could build up a strong army very quickly if he had a few more gates. Ender still doesn't have vision of that 2nd base. He probably can fairly safely assume that there's a 2nd base there. And we can see on the mini-map, Dan has taken a third hidden base. I don't think Ender has any vision, but to counter, Ender takes a gold base. So Ender is pretty ridiculously ahead in economy right now, and can only get stronger. You can see the first Colossus out. 3 or 4 Immortals for Ender. It's a pretty ridiculously strong army. Tricksy has a few Stalkers and Immortal. Oh, 2 more Immortals. His Chrono boosting out a 3rd Immortal, so he'll have 4 total, which should combat that well. The problem is the Colossus coming out, and I know the Thermal Lance is probably almost done completing. Ender's has a pylon going up here, sending in 2 more Immortals. So it looks like he's going to attack very, very soon here. Tricksy just waiting for that 3rd base to go up, but I don't know how he's going to transfer the probes over there through this army. They might all just end up getting destroyed. We'll see. But it looks like Ender's going to have some pressure here coming very soon. Sending a scouting probe up and seeing what Dan has in terms of an army. So Ender's has vision of just a few forces. Looks like Ender might come down and try to pick those off immediately. If he can weaken that army. Oh, Dan has good reaction, running away immediately, and giving himself a chance in this battle. Colossus is kind of focused on some of the building units, and Ender's kind of spread out his units a little too much, where Dan's are in a nice tight ball. He might be able to take this battle, actually. Needs to get those Immortals up front so they start shooting. There's kind of one stuck behind, not doing any damage at all, and in this case the Stalkers are just too many for Ender. Those Immortals doing good damage, where Dan had a few stuck behind, not doing any damage at all. And, looks like Ender's going to take this game. I don't see any way of Dan coming back after this. And yeah, he concedes GG. So very well played by Dan. You see first a lot of initial zealot pressure, whittling down a lot of Ender's probes back down to even.